Hi, this is Manal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to today's live stream. While everybody is entering the virtual room, I'll take the opportunity to give a quick preamble to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that's been encouraging me from day one, that's been following me, encouraging my meditations, my talks, my new course, and all of my live stream. Today I'll continue on the series that we have been doing during our live stream, and they'll soon be on my meditations as well, which is exploring resistance. It was asked of me one day, can you talk a bit more about resistance? And at first I was like, oh, I use resistance in everything I say. And when I explored it, I realized the depth and the significance of that question. Resistance is any time there is contradiction within you. I've been exploring and sort of identifying four bodies, that there's four bodies within us. Our egoic body, which is really where we form our beliefs and our thoughts. They form our thoughts, but our beliefs and our identity. So really our ego is the way that we present ourselves in the world, and it's how we connect to the spiritual. And anytime there are contradictory beliefs that you may hold towards yourself or towards life, you will feel resistance. We also have our second body, which is our mental body. This is where our thoughts are. Our beliefs form our thoughts. And sometimes we loop into thinking that just doesn't serve, and thinking that hurts, and thinking that we just can't get out of, and we know that it's not serving our highest good. And that means that these thoughts are actually in contradiction to our beliefs, or these thoughts are creating emotional resistance. So there could be contradictory thoughts, or there could be thoughts that contradict our beliefs, or thoughts that contradict or make us feel emotionally or physically poor, and that's another form of resistance. Today, we'll be focusing on the third, which is our emotional resistance. Our heart is our command center, and through our heart, we're able to feel. We feel many, many emotions. Some of the resistance emotions are anger, sadness, frustration. And a lot of time when we have resistant emotions, we actually add resistance on top of that resistance, and we add that resistance by judging it or wanting it to stop and thinking ill of ourselves, and why can't I? And so there's another judgment on ourselves and our thoughts. So that's another form of resistance. So we could have resistant emotions, feel so good it hurts, or pain that hurts and feels good. And so we could have our resistance and contradiction on the emotional level, or thoughts that hurt us, cause us sadness or cause us anger, or beliefs that cause thoughts that cause anger and resistance there. So again, contradiction in any of the levels. And then the fourth is our physical being. Touching ourselves, hurting ourselves, we have physical pain. Emotion can be represented as an emotion, or we can also, something on my lip. Or we can also talk about anger causing tightness in our chest, shame making my face flush. So any emotion has a physical impact on our body. So anytime I have a resistant thought, belief, emotion, there's going to be a physical impact on our body. And this is why stress, they're like, oh, stress hurts the body. Yes, it does, because we have all these four layers that are playing really, really closely together. For those of you that follow my inspirations, you know that there are 5 series that we go through to really connect. One is become aware. And we're exploring with becoming aware of the egoic level, which really excites me, because it's identity and beliefs and all these things that form when we were children, and they're conditioned. And these conditioned beliefs and thoughts and identity end up causing us pain that we get to untangle from. Resistance is a gift. When we add resistance on top of resistance, we add more pain. When we recognize that resistance is actually a gift, And the purpose of resistance is to orient us to our truth. When we feel resistance in any of our levels, what that is doing is directing us to recognize that, oh, we have deviated in some way from our truth. We might be listening to external voices, people that we love, people that we don't love, conditions, and it's creating a contradiction in our belief, our thoughts, our emotions, or our physical being. And we can judge it, we can hate it, we can hurt it, or we can go through the 5 steps which ultimately empower you to let it go. So 1, become aware, awareness. And when we go through our meditation today, we will go through awareness. Looking for a particular emotion that you've been triggered by lately, that doesn't feel good within you, and exploring the deeper meaning. So 1, become aware. Not overindulging in the emotion, but becoming a third-party observer, just sort of floating above yourself and saying, oh, this is really interesting. I feel anger. I recognize there is a lot of anger within me right now, and the physical sensations are clenching of my palms, tightness in my jaw, pain in my chest. And this awareness is really empowering because it no longer is you. You no longer have to identify with it, which is what we have been taught to do, is identify with our emotions. No. We dissociate from it and we recognize that it is an experience, a beautiful experience, which is allowing you to grow and expand, which is ultimately the meaning of life. So number 1, awareness. Let's become aware of the emotion, be aware of the physical sensations, be aware of the thoughts or the beliefs that may have triggered it, be aware of the conditions, and just really like, oh, this is curious. 2nd is acknowledgement. There is a much deeper meaning behind every experience that you have and every resistance that you experience. So after becoming aware, you now have the opportunity to stand back and ask yourself, what is the deeper meaning? What is this orienting me towards? Why am I feeling and experiencing this resistance? Because there's always 2 ends of every stick, the short end and the long side, the empty cup, the full cup, half empty, half full. Let me look at resistance as the long side of the stick, as the full side, and recognize it's orienting me towards, it's usually one of several things. 1, that it's not, you're having an experience or an expression of not feeling worthy, not feeling free, and being not aligned with being happy or loving or joy. And that's typically one of the 3 when you break it down to the lowest common denominator. It's about worthiness, freedom, and happiness, love, joy. So acknowledgement, let's look at that deeper meaning and try to understand what is this resistance leading you to. 3, after you become aware, acknowledge, invoking the command center, the power of your heart, appreciation. Now loving this experience, loving your anger, loving that your anger led you to having a deeper understanding of yourself, loving that your anger ultimately led you towards expansion and growth, and just having compassion, love, care for yourself, for your experience, for your ego if your ego got hurt, for your thoughts if your thoughts were resistance, for your emotions if you became sad or angry or frustrated, or for your physical being if you hurt yourself. Just turning it towards compassion rather than judgment, shame, guilt, and a lot of these other resistance things that we've been conditioned to feel. 4th, which is the most liberating, letting go. You now have the opportunity, after you become aware and you acknowledge the deeper meaning and appreciate it, of letting go of the resistance. And I like to see it as something physical. And it is physical somehow, cellular, who knows, vibrational, but I like to visualize it because I'm a visual person at times. Imagine it physical and just let it go. Let it go and release it back to the universe, back to the core of the earth, and just let it go. And just recognize the strength and the power of this moment, that instead of me being consumed by a resistant emotion, I actually became aware of it, acknowledged deeper meaning, appreciated it, and had the opportunity to choose to let it go. And then lastly, surrender. I'm going to be talking more and more about surrender because I've really been pulled towards it. But surrender is the recognition that there is a deeper meaning to our whole experience in life, and surrendering and trusting the higher. This higher could be inner being, God, source. You can call it many different things, the universe, but ultimately the surrender and the trust, the belief, the knowing that everything for your highest good will always unfold. Wonderful. I hope that preamble woke up different emotions, thoughts, beliefs, feelings within you. Let's move on to the meditation. At this point, or any point that I've been talking, close your eyes, open your eyes, but the whole thing is just going deep. And I'm sitting out in a park and there might be sounds. Try to just use this as an opportunity to filter and allow everything to go within you and filter out the world outside of you and be inside of you, regardless of what's going on the outside. Wonderful. Let's start with 3 grounding breaths. Take a deep breath in. And release. Take a second deep breath in. And release. Take a third and final deep breath in. And release. At this point, I invite you to become aware. Become aware of your emotional body. Pull to your memory, to your thoughts, to your experience, any reoccurring emotion that you may hold judgment against yourself. It could be any resistant emotion. The most common that many of us judge ourselves, particularly as we are on their spiritual journey, is anger, frustration, sadness, desperation, hatred at times. Sort of invite one that you feel is frequent and that you judge yourself, or that's been most recent. As you feel into this emotion, try to also capture some of the physical experiences that you have when you feel it, some of the thoughts that are associated with it, any resistant thoughts, some of the beliefs that you may hold that also contradicts. So look at your 4 bodies: ego, thoughts, emotions, and body. I will pause to give you the opportunity to explore. Do not overindulge, just really enjoy the journey of self-exploration. Now that you've been able to bring into your awareness and experience emotion, resistance, let's dig a bit deeper. Let's start to understand the deeper meaning behind this resistance? What is this resistance leading you to? As I said earlier, when you get to the root, self-worth, freedom, your happiness is typically at risk when we feel a lot of this resistant feelings, resistant emotions, resistant experience. Take the opportunity to really open yourself up and explore, understand, receive a deeper understanding for what this resistance is guiding you towards. Wonderful. And at this point, let's call your command center, your heart, and find love, appreciation, gratitude, compassion towards your willingness to become self-aware, to explore, to take responsibility, accountability, and really the willingness to go deep inside you just takes so much courage, bravery, and wisdom, depth of character to really be willing to look within you and understand and take responsibility for how you show up in the world. So I'm going to pause a moment and just give you the opportunity to just love on yourself, just care for yourself, just really celebrate yourself, your emotions, your journey, and your deeper understanding of yourself and your desires. I will pause. Wonderful. And at this point, let go. Let go of any resistance that you connected with. Physical resistance, resistance in the emotional body, resistance in your mental body, resistance in your egoic body. Just let go of all resistance and allow it to go back to the core of the earth. Take a deep breath in and release. Take a deep breath in and release. Take a deep breath in and release. And at times when I feel the resistance is particularly sticky, I might run my hands over myself, not even touch myself, but just shake it off until I let go of any of that resistance, whether it's in my chin, whether it's my shoulders, till it's all let go. And if any remains, you have the opportunity at any time to go through awareness, acknowledgement, appreciation, and let go. And now we will move on to surrender. Just surrender. Surrender back to your higher, to the universe, to God, your inner being, source. It just doesn't really matter. Just know that in this human journey, you're exactly where you are meant to be. That you are supported, and trust that your highest good will always unfold at a time that is best for your highest good. And just surrender. 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 Take a deep breath in of freedom. And And release. Take a deep breath in of worthiness. And release. Take a deep breath in of love, joy, bliss, happiness. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. Take a deep breath in. And release. Imagine the light of the universal divine entering your head, through the crown of your head, through your head, shoulders, arms and hands, chest, abdomen, pelvis, through your thighs, knees, calves, and out the soles of your feet. I'll pause a moment to allow these concepts to calibrate, and if you're inspired, create an intention for your day, for the week, for your year, for your life. I will pause. Wonderful. Be compassionate as all of these concepts integrate. It took a lifetime for you to be where you are, and just love on yourself as you start to explore your ego, your thoughts, your emotional body, your physical body, and start to let go of a lot of this conditioning that added resistance, and let it all go and reorient to your truth, which is a truth of freedom, self-worth, and happiness. I celebrate you for being here. I thank you. I invite you to add any comments or questions or future topics in the subject area and or in the comment box. And after I turn off the camera, I will respond to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My love, always.